G'day, my name is David and I love my gardening, especially my veggie patch. This is my part 2 of a 2-part video, obviously. Doing a review, just a quick walkthrough of my 2021-2022 Melbourne veggie patch. This bed here, this garden, I shouldn't say bed, this garden here is, veggie patch is 13 metres by 13 metres, carved out of the scrub, and we might as well start on the right and work our way through. On my right here we've got a herb garden over the back, so we've got some rosemary and some thyme and other bits and pieces in the corner there. Here we have some forward hook spinach. Everything in here is grown from seed, either and propagated in pots or direct sown. We've got some snow peas and snap peas here. We're getting stuck into these and having a feed of those tonight. So I've just got some simple wire, some chicken wire that I had, and some posts I make up my frame out of. So beautiful, awesome, ready to go. As I work my way around, we can come back this way. We've got tomatoes. So anyone who knows me knows I love growing tomatoes. I'm just crazy about growing tomatoes. In this bed here, in this patch here, we've got a number of different varieties. We've got tomatoes here at the front. So just got some magnificent sets of tomatoes all the way through. I have got mortgage lifters, beefsteaks, rouge over the back. I've got some Romas, more Romas here at the front. I use a system, my system for my tomatoes is I happen to have some bamboo on this property, so I make up these frames and then buy, there's a cord you can buy, just a cotton cord. You can buy this in balls from Bunnings, about $8 for 50 metres. I tie a cord up to the top and then I come down the plant, and when the plant's about a foot high is when I put these cords in place. I just tie a granny knot part way down the stem. I don't do staking to the ground, that's not necessary. I just come part way up the plant, tie it, and then start twirling the cord up the plant. And as the plant grows, I just put more wraps around it and train it to grow all the way up as tall as I wish to grow it. And these guys are 8, 9, 10 foot high plants there. So my tomatoes are just going absolutely gangbusters, beautiful sets of fruit all the way through there. As always with my tomatoes, I take all the laterals off. As the fruit sets develop, I then take the leaves off below it, so the plant is putting its energy into the fruit, not into leaves. So I'll be coming along today, for example. So there's a second fruit set, there's a third fruit set on this one plant, and there's a 4th, 5th, 6th sets up there. I'll actually come along today and I'll take off these leaves here below this fruit set, as these are starting to turn now. It won't be long before we'll be picking these tomatoes. Back to the tour around the corner here, we've got jalapenos. So I with all my jalapenos, I always take the tops off of them to encourage them to brush out and put more growth sideways, get lots more places for flowers to form. So you can see where I've been cutting off, and then you get new shoots coming out from the sides. So you get a lot more heads and potential places for flowers. Also giving the plant a bit of a shock encourages it to flower as well, I find. These are just leftover tomatoes that I had in my trays. There's tomatoes over in the corner here. Some more of my Roma cherries. In front of this is my corn. So I grew corn this year. I grew 3 lots of corn at 3 different times and 3 different varieties, so that I could get a bit of a spread of when we harvest. So these we've already harvested a couple of weeks ago. So we just about finished eating all of the corns from there. It's about 20 plants there, 20 heads of corn we picked from that. These guys will be coming along, and I'll probably be taking these, if they're ready, I might be taking those off today or tomorrow. So we've got another 20 or so head of corn in here. And then over the back, there's our last lot, which is just, it's half a dozen or 8 or 9 of a different variety, which I planted later yet again. So these guys I'll be picking a bit later on. Over in the corner there, you'll see some gorgeous Roma tomatoes that are coming along nicely. So, sorry about that. Nice big fat ones. Now those with a keen eye will be seeing all of these spots on the leaves of my corn, and some of you will know what that is and some of you may not. For those that you do not, that is whitefly damage. You may see little bugs flying around as I'm going around. They're whitefly. They actually will scarify. They get their mouth parts and they'll chew on the leaves. And I don't use chemicals. I don't use pesticides on all of my veggies. They're all organic. And that is the damage they cause. Now it does negatively affect your crop. I find that you don't get as bigger ears of corn as I would like. I find that they tend to be more stubby. This reduces the amount of chlorophyll and sugar and productions of corn, and particularly this kind of damage is significant on these plants. So I regularly high pressure hose them, trying to get rid of them, but that is the cost of going with organic. You're going to expect to get some damage like that. Okay, through the middle here we have more tomatoes, Roma tomatoes going through there. Tomatoes. I've got a little stray eggplant there. One of the things we love doing is we love to preserve our beans, as I said earlier. I wanted to put more bean trellises in than what I did. So this year what I did is, because I've got all this bamboo I use as frames to suspend my tomatoes, I decided to see if I could grow beans at the base of each one of these, and then pick beans. And I would have to say it has been, for the most part, a success. Up the end, when we get around to the end of the video, I'll show you some fantastic beans. More of my cherry Romas. Again, these guys have just been an amazing success. I've never grown cherry Romas before, and that's just one. There's one, sorry, two. There's one there. But, that's a clump of cherry Romas. I picked up these seeds in Bunnings. Never seen them before. But look at the set of fruit. That's just one stem there. There's got to be 50 tomatoes on there, and every stem is like that. That's one set of tomatoes there off one branch. Amazing producer. So I'll definitely be growing more of these, and they're just fantastic in the salads. I forget what these tomatoes are. These are a stray tomato that we just from 2000, and some seed I say from 2014. I didn't even properly label it, so they're just a tomato, but some beautiful beautiful sets of fruit coming along on these. So little bit of sun damage, but going amazing. A pumpkin patch in the middle here. Queensland blue pumpkin. Some more of these Roma cherries. Come back around towards the front here. Obviously more rows of tomatoes. Beautiful sets of Roma tomatoes. I always take my laterals off, as I say, and I take the lower leaves off as well. There's some big benefits for doing that. Your plant you get a lot more sun and air around the plant. You get less problems with disease. One of the big problems we have here that I've had in the past by not doing this is you'll have problems with rodents getting in, rats and mice, and the more coverage and more places they can hide, the safer they are. They can do a lot of damage to your fruit. So letting more air through, it reduces disease, it reduces pests. I get less caterpillars, I get less issues with things like that. So if you let the foliage get really dense, you'll get big problems with caterpillars, different seasons. So opening it up and letting the air and light through, just, for me, it's the only way to go. I wouldn't do anything different. Eggplant, more Romas growing through here. So these guys are doing fantastic. So getting some good sets. Had a little bit of problem this year with bottom rot, and I put that down to inconsistent watering. There's plenty of calcium. I put gypsum and other things in the soil, so I know it's not going to be that. But yeah, because of the heat and getting down here as regularly as I'd like to, I'm putting it down to irregular. Watering is my issue this year. I mentioned about beans on my trellises, so these are a Vitalis bean that I've grown, and fantastic success. Particularly the Vitalis, they seem to like growing up these trellises, so loaded with beans all the way through. And so it's a structure that's there for my tomatoes, but at the same time getting something yummy to eat. Moving towards the top end of this garden bed, we've got some couple of different varieties of cucumber. So again, the Richmond green apple, first time growing these guys. First time growing these, I traditionally grow the long, Lebanese or English kind of cucumbers. These guys, when you cut them, it sounds like you're actually cutting an apple. It's got the same sound as an apple. It looks like an apple. It's about the same size as an apple. They taste like a cucumber. Beautiful, juicy, sweet cucumber. Love them. And then these are the supermarket long greens that I'm growing over the other garden bed. Got the same in here again. A bit of an experiment. So anyone who watches my videos knows that I like using weed matting on my garden beds, and I've had some different results over the years using sugarcane mulch. So this year I deliberately used the same compost that I use in these beds, same kind of raised bed, same volume of compost. Got plastic on these guys, and over here I've used organic sugarcane mulch that I bought from Bunnings in those plastic pails. And I have to say, there must be something in that sugarcane mulch, because the plants that I've grown here using that and not the plastic are absolutely rubbish. There is something in that sugarcane mulch. The tomatoes, have a look at these plants. You've got plants with no tomatoes on them. all these tomatoes grown at the same time, grown in the same potting mix, and then transplanted out all at the same time. And then you have these fantastic tomatoes, absolutely loaded with tomatoes in plastic. You got these guys, they're just shit. So even the eggplant, these plants are not much bigger than when I first put them in, and they are just rubbish. So there is absolutely, I've had this theory for a few years, I don't know what it is. I've seen it, and that's why I swear by the black plastic. It's just chalk and cheese. You compare those plants to these, you got plants with like one tomato on it. Same compost, from the same compost bin, all organic. The only difference between this bed, these beds, and those beds is those are plastic, and this is so-called organic sugarcane mulch. I won't be buying it again. It's going to be all weed matting from now on. So yeah, that's my tour of the veggie patch number 1 of 2 veggie patches. If you have any questions, want to know about things you've seen, how I do stuff, drop a question or comment below. Please like and share. Thank you for watching.